turning tricks I saw at the Powerhouse Museum at the Powerhouse. There is a Powerhouse Museum actually, but that's in Sydney. At the Powerhouse, I saw turning tricks on Sunday. And it's all about tricksters, pranksters and scammers. And it was a really good, it was in the graffiti room, so it was in a really small room, so it was very cosy. There was no escape for the audience, certainly not me, who ended up getting there last and having to sit in the front row. Fortunately, they didn't want to pick on me. Maybe I had something about me that looked very sceptical already. But they were going from the Fox sisters, who of course were the famous psychics who did the rapping in the 19th century, cracking their toes and knocking onto the wood and also onto bits of metal and things to try and scam people while doing seances. And it's two people, mentalist, he calls himself mentalist, Sean Murgard, and a magician, Pete Booth. Now what they did was it was about an hour-long show, and they were basically exposing all the fraudsters and tricksters by repeating those different tricks and how they did it, but they didn't actually tell you how they did it. They just demonstrated it, which was a bit frustrating because, of course, we all want to know how they did it. So I interviewed them afterwards to see if I could find anything out. I've just been to see your show and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, good.
The show was really good because it was taking you from the Fox sisters all the way through to the present, being sceptical about the psychic.
Yeah.
What's your motivation behind exposing the frauds?
Well, when you get into magic, like Sean and I do, eventually you start seeing the tricks that you're seeing psychics do on TV popping up in the kids' magic books that you're reading. I mean, literally, I won't name names, but some of the psychics, the simplicity of their tricks is of such that you can actually find them in kids' magic books. And so you see them on TV pretending to be psychic and you think, hang on, I learned how to do that. And so you just kind of develop a natural skeptic kind of way about you and thinking.
You were talking about John Edwards, seeing him live, and he was absolutely appalling. Have you seen him live?
I have. I saw him in strange circumstances. He was at Australia Zoo.
Oh.
He was part of the school holiday entertainment, which is very weird, but it was in this big, they call it Crocoseum, it's a big outdoor coliseum, or amphitheatre, and as you said, he didn't seem, I think he uses a technique called cold reading, along with other techniques. That's my personal opinion. And that day he just didn't seem to be very good at it. He would throw out a question and then get a no, throw out another, and on about the fifth question he got a yes and ran with that. Yeah, that's what it appeared to me to be.
Because you've given out a trick to everybody, a set of cards, and then a website for you to go to check it all up. So it's fantastic because you're sort of perpetuating the magic.
Yeah, we've heard stories of that trick going around about the place. So it's been very good to be able to see and sort of track the progress of the show and actually see people getting some things out of the things that we're doing in the show, which is great.
And you were talking about the Xena cards. Now, one of the things I do on the show is I do a Xena card test with a listener. Now, I've had somebody who claimed to be psychic and they got 12 out of 25.
I think for me, it's still 12. If you were genuinely...
less than half.
It's less than half. And I think for me, if you're claiming to be psychic, I don't know what's stopping you all the time.
Now I was talking to Turning Tricks. Now they were trying to show and expose all the magicians, the conjurers, the psychics out there, using their own magic and looking at the biggest scams around the world through time. And it was a really well done show. It was about an hour long, and they progressed from the beginning, from the Fox sisters to the present day, even got a bit of Houdini in there too. And they were demonstrating these mind conjuring tricks and involving the audience, which was really interesting. And there was one trick which involved two different envelopes, and a person in the audience had to choose which envelope. One contained a check for $500. Do you think they actually managed to persuade, through mind tricks and mind control, the person to choose that or not? Let's hear.
Have you experienced any real magic? But have you ever been anywhere with people who are real practitioners of magic who don't get paid for what they do?
I came close one time. There was a man, he's a friend of mine actually, and he was telling me everything that I did during the day. He could tell me where I went, who I saw, how much I spent. He was telling me all of this person, and I could not figure out how he did it. I thought maybe I made appointments online, he was hacking into my computer, it was blowing my mind, and but I knew it couldn't be psychic, so I begged him to tell me how it's done. What had happened is I had receipts in my pocket, they'd fallen out of my pocket, he'd swiped them, and he was just telling me everything I did during, you went to this store, you spent this much, but the way he fed back the information in that psychic guise, using that language, was just brilliant. So that's the only time I've been really baffled for at least a little while.
But you don't believe there is any real magic? You're not open to the idea that
We're open to the idea, but
there is a manipulation?
Yeah, I think we're definitely open to the idea, but are yet to see it.
Yes, and so is Randy, still yet to see it.
Absolutely, that's
that
right.
$1 million hasn't been one, has it?
And he's over 80 now, so...
Yes, but he's still going, he's still waiting for it to happen.
He is.
Finally, I want to ask you, has anything ever gone wrong? Because a lot of it seems to be well practiced. Planned, is there anything where something didn't happen the way it should have?
I say every night, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's inevitable, yeah. I mean, the real trick is not making it look like something has gone wrong. But it's rare that you have a completely perfect show every single night.
What went wrong tonight?
Oh, what went wrong? We had a good one tonight. There wasn't too much. It's just little things. Because if I told you, you would know how the trick was done. see, only I can know that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the good thing about setting it up with the whole psychic premise is psychics are allowed to be wrong as well.
Okay.
So, as they say, I can't be right.
Yes.
So we will claim that as well. We can't get it right 100% of the time.
So is there any time that it's just been appalling though, where it's just...
I don't think it's ever gotten to that extent.
Okay.
There has certainly been times where, for example, we do a trick in the show where we aim to sort of give away potentially a 50-50 chance of giving away a check. And that's occasionally where we used to do it with something that wasn't that exact scenario. We were doing it with a lot less money, and that had more of a chance to go wrong, and almost did, but still never has. So we're just waiting for that day, I think.
So nobody's ever chosen the check? Because I know which one I was going to choose, and it was the check.
All right.
That's why we didn't pick you to...
I noticed that.
Yes. Drat. I missed out on that $500 because that was the one that the person in the audience chose first, but by trying to psych her out, eventually she changed her mind throughout the whole of the show and chose the wrong one. And it was a blank check. They were going to give it to her. Turning Tricks, look out for them. They're local. They'll be on the circuit again next year, and I'll keep an eye out and I'll let you know when they're coming. Great mind readers, conjurers, and exposing the frauds. Of course, there are so many out there, and I've talked to and interviewed a lot of people who do this kind of work. Some admit that it is all a trick, but there are other psychics who say that they are the real deal. Are you the real deal? Please get in contact with me, nixfullmoon@gmail.com,